yo, I'm no tough guy, I'm no bad guy. It's that plain and simple. But at the end of the day, I definitely have to protect myself. And it's crazy because, like, I looked at the New York, state gun laws, and it's crazy. Like, the number one reason why you should leave New York is because you really can't protect and defend yourself. That plain and simple. Like, the gun laws are very strict. And it's very difficult for the average New Yorker to legally possess a firearm. But here in the southern states, let me tell you something. If you're not a felon, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have any domestic abuse or, armed robbery and stuff like that on your criminal record, right now, today, you can walk in any gun store or gun range that sells guns and you could purchase you a rifle right now. That's my word. As long as you have your ID and your license. And that gun range and that gun store is FFL. That plain and simple. You understand? And if you want to take it to the next level, not so much the next level, but if you want to get a handgun, let's say, for example, you wanted a Glock 19, right? You can actually fill out the paperwork online, Charlotte, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Department. The application for a permit. Once you get your permit, I'm making the long story short. Once you get your permit, you can walk in any place that sells, handguns and purchase you a Glock 19. You get you a holster, and that day, you could put that Glock 19 inside that holster and put it on your hip and open and carry. Now, taking heed, you can't walk in any stores or malls that says on the front of the door that there are no guns allowed. But at the end of the day, you can open and carry, straight up. That plain and simple. Now, if you want to take it even further than that, you can get your CCW. And CCW stands for Concealed Carry Weapons License. That means that you can take that EDC, your everyday carry, that Glock 19. You can take your EDC and tuck it in your pants and put your shirt over it. Or like if you're in a car, you can put your EDC, your Glock 19, under your car seat, on your glove compartment. You have the right to conceal your weapon. You understand? But not like in New York. You can't do that in New York at all. And this is what's so crazy to me. You know what I mean? That at the end of the day, what I'm about to show you, I can't have in New York, but I could definitely have it in the South. Let me show you my EDC. Let's go. Boom. So this is the 6 Hour P365 chambered in 9mm. As you can see, it's clear. It comes with, if I'm not mistaken, 2 10-round magazine. And then I purchased this one. This is a 12-rounder. And I'm working with polymer hollow tip bullets. And, let me tell you something. 6 Hour is a very good company. This weapon, a firearm, has never jammed on me. And I've put it through torture, for real, at the gun range. You understand? So I'm going to let this intro play, and then after that, we're going to get busy. All right, let's go. Yo, in the very beginning of this video, I said the usual phrase or sentence or whatever, when it comes to me talking about firearms. And it goes like this. I'm not trying to be the tough guy, the bad guy, the this or that, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, if you try to break into my home and cause my family and I harm, or if I'm out and about and you want to cause me harm, it's not even I'm not trying to be. I'm going to be the tough guy. I'm going to be the bad guy. I am going to practice my constitutional right under the Second Amendment to bear arms and to protect and defend myself. That plain and simple. And it's just that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. Let me ask you, New Yorkers, are you safe? Do you feel safe in New York City? Do you feel safe? I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just asking a simple question. Do you feel safe when you know that there are the bad guys, the real bad guys out there, right? That have guns, that have firearms, and you don't? Do you? What is a bat gonna do? Mace. Some brass knuckles. What is that gonna do? You understand? So it's imperative that you think about your safety as well as your family if you have one, when you're observing New York City and what they provide for you to have. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're allowed legally to have in order to protect yourself. See, here in the South, I don't have to worry about things. I can open and carry with this holster right here. This holster. Open and carry. Out and about. Now, true indeed, if I were to walk inside a let's say Walmart, right? And it says that there's no guns allowed, I can't walk in there like that. I can't. Even if I had a CCW, I couldn't walk in there like that. But for the most part, here in the South, you can protect and defend yourself as well as your family. And I just think that, in my opinion, that's the deal breaker for me. There's no way in the world I can ever live in any place without my firearms. That plain and simple. I'm not going around saying I'm gonna pull up on my ops. You don't see me in videos on YouTube with my firearms everywhere. Matter of fact, to be real with you, I don't want you all to know how many firearms I have. And to be real with you, it's all about the element of surprise. For real. So when I'm out and about, I'm not going to actually carry this holster. You're not going to see it until it's necessary for you to see it, if you understand where I'm coming from. Let's move on. So we covered that one. That one, protection. Do you feel safe in New York? And if you don't, can you protect and defend yourself as well as your family? Let's move on. Number 2, noise pollution. You're living in New York City. I've lived in New York City. And I can tell you, with the exception of some parts of Queens, Staten Island, and Long Island, the rest, noisy as shit. And like I said, some parts of Queens, some parts of it's some parts of all of the 5 boroughs, to be real with you. But for the most part, noise pollution. There's always fire trucks, the ambulance, cop cars, noise going on. People arguing, especially if you're living in the projects. People talking all loud, all types of shit. Not just noise pollution, but I talked about this in the last video. Aura infringement. If you don't know what that means, look it up. So I'll give you an example of what I mean with aura infringement. Say, for example, if you're living on the 17th floor of a building, right? And in that building that you're living in, right? It goes up to 20 floors, right? So you have 3 floors up and then 16 floors down, and you're on the 17th floor. So you have all of these people. Let's say you got 1,000 people staying in the building. That's different type of attitudes, noise. There's people living above you, below, on the left side of you, on the right hand side of you. As you walk down the stairs, there's people coming up the stairs. There's people coming down the stairs. As you're on the elevator, people that's on the elevator, that's getting on the elevator from the 11th floor, from the 5th floor. All of these different attitudes. That's infringing on your aura. It's killing your vibe, your energy. And this is part of the reason why people are so fucking angry in New York. Because you're living on top of each other. And you gotta deal with so many different attitudes and moods and people's emotions. And what they got going on in their life. You don't know, your next door neighbor might be getting her ass beat on the fifth floor, it may be a man molesting a little girl. I'm not trying to be funny, but it just may be a lot of shit going on in that building. And some of those people are taking their anger, frustration out on others. That's where people get stabbed up, shot up, beat up, robbed, all types of shit. So yeah, number 2 is noise pollution / aura infringement. It's the second reason why you might want to leave New York. Third, cost efficiency. You know what I'm saying? The cost of living. Now, you know, everybody will pull this stunt like, okay, well, you know, living in New York, you know, you get paid more. That's the reason why I don't want to live down south, because they don't pay nothing and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something, it all balances out. The more money you make, guess what? The more they're going to charge you in that particular city. The less money you make, the less they're going to charge you. Let me tell you this. I live in Still Creek area in Charlotte, North Carolina, right? The gas is $3.15, 17 cents, something around that area. You know what I'm saying? Here in Still Creek, Charlotte area. I can go a couple minutes away in Fort Mill, which is it's a lot less people. You know what I'm saying? The population wise. Fort Mill, South Carolina, and the gas is $3.03. Plain and simple. And that's South Carolina. That's another state. You understand? There's less people, and they pay less in that particular, you know, city and state. But speaking on the cost of living in New York, I mean, let's be real. I mean, I said this in the other video. I've said a lot of the things that I'm saying now. I'm about to say in this video. I've been saying it throughout the course of this whole past year in 2021. But if you're new to this channel, you know what I'm saying? It's good that you look at this video, because now I'm including everything in one video. So the cost of living, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this for the 13th millionth time, you know what I'm saying? I live in this 3-bedroom, 2-story, 2.5 bath, garage, front yard, backyard. I pay $1,605. $1,605 a month. Central air and heat. Nobody regulates my central air and heat. You understand? I have a thermostat and I turn it up. You know what I'm saying? If it's cold at night, you know what I'm saying? I turn it up, turn the temperature up so it can heat up. Or if it's hot in the summer, you know what I'm saying? I turn the temperature down so it can cool off the house. I pay $1,605. That's it. Can you get that in New York? In a good area, in a good side of town? Can you get that? Is the question. In a nice community with a big ass park, you understand? That's connected to the community. And then we have our smaller park that's in the community with a pool. I don't like the pool. I like, you know, like pools that go up to like 12, 13 feet. You know what I'm saying? But our pool goes up to 5. You know what I'm saying? So it's kiddie friendly. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna really drown in that pool. This is what I pay every month, $1,605. And no, I don't own a house. The house is up for sale, so I can purchase it if I want it. For real, I can. But I don't want to actually own this house. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in the city of Charlotte. But I know one thing, I'm not moving further up north, I'm moving further down south. The cost of living, you can't beat it. You get more bang for your buck. Let's just say, for example, if I'm paying, I'm paying $1,605, right? And I gotta go to work and I gotta pay that, right? And let's say every year they go up $100 more on a rent. So next year is gonna be $1,705, and the year after that, $1,805 and $1,905. What I'm saying to you is, yeah, the rent may go up, but I still get to keep my, well, I won't say amenities, because everybody has this on my block. Everybody basically has the same shit, or can have the same shit that I have here in all South. They give that to you, whether it's Virginia, these Mason-Dixon line on down. But in New York, it's an amenity. For some of you all, you can't control your central air and heat. Matter of fact, you don't have central air and heat. You have a radiator, and then you know, for the heat, and then you have a box unit as an air conditioner. There ain't no garage. There's no front yard and backyard. I said this in one of the videos that, you know, a family member of mine said, yo, man, I gotta cut the grass. This is in the summertime. I'm like, all right, cool. Call me back in like 2 minutes, because that's how long it's gonna take you. What you talking about? You got a front yard? That ain't no fucking front yard. I don't even know what this motherfucker even got a goddamn lawnmower. Shit, a pair of scissors would do. He cut his, man, I'm telling you, that's my word. He could cut his grass with a pair of scissors and be done in 5 minutes. So you're not getting, let's just say for the sake of the conversation, you know what I'm saying? You may be paying $16.05 where you're at, but you're not getting what I'm getting. And what I'm getting is amenities up north. So the cost of living are being cost efficient. Man, it's beautiful down here in the South. Cost of living is beautiful. Yeah, things are going up, but man, it's no comparison when it comes to the northern states, specifically New York City. Let's move on. So we said weapons are protection, safety, noise pollution, number 2, or infringement. 3, cost efficiency, a cost of living. 4, I never wanted to say this. Never. I've heard a lot of people say this, and I've always felt a little funny when they said it. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta admit it. It's dirty in New York. It's dirty, and it's not like people are dirty. Well, I will say that there are people that are dirty. There are people that don't give a flying fuck about their community or their environment. They'll throw shit on the ground and just keep it moving. That whole thing that I despise, walking past, projects or high-rise buildings, co-op buildings or whatever have you, tenant buildings. I despise walking past there when it's trash day, because it's nothing but trash piled up on each other. And y'all know good and goddamn well that trash breeds rats. It breeds rats. And I was in denial for the longest. When people used to be like, New York is dirty, da-da-da-da-da. Nah, man, it ain't that dirty. Yes, it is. Pissy elevators, cars, pollution, carbon monoxide every fucking where. Not enough clean air because there are not enough trees. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, y'all can talk shit about the South as much as you want. But God damn it, man, I could breathe. Go to Coney Island and what? You gonna go to Jones Beach? All the beaches in Long Island and go, come on, man. Rockaway? Far Rockaway? Come on, my nigga. Please stop it. The water is black. Stop it. Yo, let me tell you something. I live in Charlotte, and I bitch and complain about the water at Myrtle Beach. Straight up. I'm really debating whether I want to take my family to Myrtle Beach this year. I'm definitely going to Miami Beach, but Myrtle, oh my God. But it ain't no comparison to how dirty New York water is. And New Jersey. So we got weapons, protection, safety. 2, noise pollution or infringement. 3, cost efficient or cost of living. 4, it being dirty. Number 5. Yes, true indeed. Let's take, for example, a city like Charlotte. I'm only using Charlotte as an example, right? Or we can use Atlanta. I've lived in Atlanta. The only reason why I'm using Charlotte or Atlanta is because I've lived in these 2 places. I could be able to tell you from my own experience how those two cities are. But for the sake of the conversation, I live in Charlotte now, so I'm going to address it like that, right? So take, for example, Charlotte, right? You have the best of both worlds. Yes, true indeed, there's not going to be a city like New York. But if you're still looking for that city life, right? But you want to be in a more safer environment, more cleaner environment. If you have a family, you know what I'm saying? Your children go to school, you want a better education, this and that and so forth. Yo, you can have the best of both worlds nowadays. Straight up. Charlotte gives that to you. You know? Now, if you have a family and you're older, you know what I'm saying? You're in your mid or late 30s, you know, I wouldn't recommend, mid and late 30s and above, I wouldn't solely recommend the uptown area, because that's where the Generation Z and millennials are at. You know what I'm saying? All in uptown and South End. You know, but definitely, you know, like around South Park and that area, you know, somewhat around uptown, but not specifically in it. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, if you want city life, these cities, you know, such as Charlotte, Atlanta, you know, Jacksonville, you know, a little bit of Raleigh, definitely Houston, Dallas, Austin. These places have the best of both worlds nowadays. You understand? So if you're looking for the city life, you know, but you want to live in the country or live in the outskirts of that city, you can do it. If you're looking for the city life and you want to live in the city life, you can do it. You have the best of both worlds. And you could be able to, you know what I'm saying, have your protection. You know, most of the southern states are open and carry states. Stand your ground. You know what I'm saying? The noise pollution and aura infringement you won't have to worry about aura infringement in these southern states, because they don't have high-rise buildings, people living on top of one another. In other words, these southern cities, they're not overcrowded. You don't have to worry about noise pollution, with the exception if you're living in like Houston, in the city, you know what I'm saying, in an urban area. I keep saying that shit, but it's the truth. You're living in the urban areas of that city, you know what I'm saying? You know, fire trucks and all that. Man, you know how many times I hear fire trucks, cop cars, and ambulances in the community that I live in, yet alone the area that I live in. And if and when I do, it's because of a car accident or a fire. Nobody getting shot the fuck up. In the southern states, you don't have to worry. In cities, you don't have to worry about dirt. I've lived in, well, I say Metro Atlanta, but most of the time I say Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? But I've lived in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I've lived in Charlotte, I've lived in Raleigh, I've lived in Durham, well, I say Durham, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Greensboro, you know what I'm saying? I stayed a little bit in Fayetteville, and none of those places are like real dirty. I never had to deal with rats and roaches and none of that dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? Now bugs is something different, you know? Of course, it's the South. What you expect? You're gonna have bugs. But you ain't gotta deal with roaches galore unless you're just a nasty, filthy fucking person like that. Or rats, or fucking rodents, period, mice. So you get to have the best of both worlds and taking heed. There's cars everywhere. There's, factories and restaurants and shit and all this smog and you know, there's emissions tests and shit like that. You know, there's dirt, there's smog, smoke, all that shit. But guess what we have down south that cleans that shit the fuck up? Trees! Vegetation! Human beings have to breathe! They do. And there's a thing down south called Southern hospitality. Well, yeah, true indeed. You know, people say, good morning, how you doing? They really don't give a fuck how you doing. But at least they ask. At least they're somewhat concerned. New York, you get the stiff face. That's all you get. If you say what's up in New York, niggas be like, yo, what you mean what's up? Like, nah, I don't mean it that way. Nah, I don't mean it that way. I mean, what's up? Like, how you doing? Not like, what's up, I'm ready to fight. Can't do it, man. I couldn't do it, man. You know, when I was young, I didn't mind living in, New York because I didn't have a family. In other words, I wasn't responsible for anyone else but me, Now that I have a family, I gotta consider this shit. I gotta think about, the crime rate. I gotta think about education, the public schools. And, there's a shitload of colleges down here, in the South, whether it's, regular colleges, or, HBCUs, historically black college universities. Gotta worry about this stuff. I gotta worry about racism. They say in the South there's a lot of racism. Well, a lot of Northerners say there's a lot of racism down South. But, I continue to bring these people up. Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, Eric Garner. There's racism everywhere. Everywhere. Nobody's exempt from that. And that's something that we have to deal with as African Americans. But let me tell you something. You don't have to live in these northern states anymore and go through the bullshit. Let me tell you, let me say this, man. Racism is bad. But when you're dealing with racism and all of everything else, these young kids in the North, specifically Brooklyn and the Bronx with this drill music, they talking about some, we gonna spin around the block and shit. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't in the, hurting and killing anyone, but you telling me you gonna spin around the block? My family lives on that corner, man. I walk my kids to school in the morning, in the afternoon. You're not even telling me specifically what time. And these kids these days, they don't give a fuck if you walking with your son, your daughter, your grandmother, your great-grandmother. Anybody can get it. Fuck all of that. But there's disadvantages in the South. I'm not gonna lie, but I'd rather deal with those disadvantages than to deal with the disadvantages that are in the North. They far outweigh the disadvantages in the South. And the advantages in the South far outweigh the advantages in the North. For real. Like, transportation is garbage down South. I'm gonna let you know that right off the rip. But why wouldn't you want to know how to drive? Yo, let me tell you something. That license, it gives you freedom to go wherever the fuck you want to go. And I'm not trying to knock any of y'all. That's my word. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a license, I can't fuck with you. I'm being real with you. And I have my license revoked. I just got my license back about 5-6 years ago. But it having a license permits you to go any and everywhere. It gives you the freedom to drive. If I wanted to drive right now from North Carolina to goddamn California, I can. And who gives a fuck about a racist cop? What, you gonna stop me up? All right, give me my speeding ticket. I'm not trying to be funny, you know what I'm saying? Because I am totally against police brutality. But for real, how many cases has it been when a police officer stopped the motherfucker for speeding and they shot and killed the nigga because he was being polite and he did everything the cop told him to do? I can tell you, I've been pulled over numerous of times. Matter of fact, I got pulled over fucked up one night. Fucked up, drunk and high. And that nigga knew, the police officer knew I was fucked up. He was like, yo, say your ABCs, you know what I'm saying? And say your 1, 2, 3s and shit. And I said it. And he ain't had me walk none of that. He didn't do no sobriety tests or none of that shit. Now, he arrested me. And you know what he arrested me for? Driving my license revoked. That's it. And I told him I was drinking. As long as you are respectful to the cops and you let them know, hey, listen, this is what's going on, ain't no reason for a motherfucker to do no shit to you. And whatever he does do to you and you survive, you handle that shit in court. Other than that, give me my speeding ticket. Let me be about my way. That plain and simple. I know a lot of niggas in New York that don't have a license. And I'm like, yo, y'all are crazy. I know a lot of niggas that don't know how to drive in New York. Yo, that shit is real. I should have put that on my top 5 joints. I know a lot of niggas that don't know how to drive in New York. Don't have a license. Well, how the fuck are you able to see the world? Like, I'm talking about not your world, you know what I'm saying? Because some people live in Brooklyn and ain't never been to Manhattan. So that's what I mean by the world. See, outside of New York, there's a whole new world that you've never experienced. Because you've been living in New York all your life, my nigga. All your life. And you knocking people that live outside of New York not knowing that they're experiencing heaven while you're experiencing hell. Fucking pool parties, barbecues in the summertime. Let me tell you something, man. In New York, the summer is lit. But it's some things that in the South that New York can't fuck with when it comes to the summertime, man. I know I've lived in New York and I've lived in the South. I've lived in North Carolina. I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in a little bit in Orlando. And I'm telling you, man, ain't nothing like them fucking pool parties and barbecues and damn... You know what I'm about to say, man. Southern Belles running around with them big fat ass, some cornbread, fed fat asses. Fuck out of here, man. I ain't trying to convince you. You can do what you want to do. It's your life. The only thing I'm here is to just, put it on the table. If you want to eat it, eat it. You don't, you don't. Other than that, my name is Langston2092. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, definitely share this video. Peace.